Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I just wanted to do a quick video on dealing with a difficult breakup or a difficult separation. I've noticed that a lot of people seem to be going through this, judging by like my readings and my emails and my DMs. So I just wanted to give you, I guess, some words of comfort if you are going through this. And I'm probably not even going to edit this. I'm probably just going to just ramble and speak from the heart. And hopefully, this gives someone some type of comfort, like I said. So first, I guess I want to talk about soulmates, because that seems to be like a very big theme, within the YouTube community or the spiritual community. Soulmates, twin flames, separation, things like that. So a lot of times when we meet someone who we resonate with on a soul level and we have this instant attraction to and we form this bond with, it's because on some level we are supposed to learn and grow through that person. Now, the hard part is when the lesson is over pretty much and then you have to let go of that person. That's where things get extremely painful, because just because you learn the lesson through the experience, that doesn't mean that you're automatically healed when it's over. It's like you learn the lesson and then you split, and through that pain, you're really able to get closer to God, get closer to yourself, and apply the lessons that you learned in order for you to heal and then become a better person for your next relationship or just for life in general. But it's hard to see it that way when you are in separation or you're in the thick of it and you just feel that pain, because you are connected with them on a soul level and you are connected with them spiritually. Like, you have an energetic cord with them, so you are still picking up on their emotions, they're still picking up on yours, and it's just extremely extremely painful. So as I'll share my own story and how I kind of was able to change my perspective on my breakup and my separation in order to kind of grow and heal past it. So this is basically like the situation with my twin flame, and I already have a video on that, so you can go ahead and watch that. So I'm not going to get into detail about it. I'm just going to kind of skip to the separation part. So we ended up separating because I knew there was some type of deceit going on behind my back. I knew that there was just some type of imbalance within our relationship. I was trying very hard to put energy and effort into it, and he kind of had emotionally checked out, and I started getting red flags that he was entertaining other women, and it was extremely painful. And it was even more painful because it's like I was aware that I had codependent tendencies, and I was aware that I give too much to relationships. I give too much in relationships to people who don't return, the feelings, or they don't reciprocate the action to me. But I did not expect him to do that, of all people, because we have been through similar situations in the past. But then again, the red flags were flying. So that's another thing about being in separation, is that it gives you time to really reflect back on back onto the red flags that you saw, like you knew they were there and you kind of just ignored them. In separation, you have nothing but time on your hands to think back, like, wow, I really let those things slide. I really let those things pass me and just accepted it. And that's one of the hardest parts about separation, because the red flags were flying. There was a specific girl that was continuously commenting on his tweets and stuff that was about sexual. He would say something alluding to something sexual, and she would comment the emoji eyes. And then his ex was continuously crossing boundaries and just being really flirtatious, or he was just allowing these things to happen. And I was so angry with him. And during the separation, I turned on myself and became angry with myself because I was letting the red flags fly. So that's one of the most difficult parts of a breakup sometimes, or a separation, is that you're angry with yourself because you feel like that you betrayed yourself in some ways. You feel like, I should have walked away sooner. I knew I saw the red flags. I should have gotten out of this sooner, and now I'm suffering. And that's a difficult feeling to deal with. I had to deal with a lot of self-hatred because of that. I really could not look at myself in the mirror. I hated myself because not only was I disappointed in myself for allowing him to treat me that way, but I had internalized the way he treated me. So he ended up leaving me to go back to his ex. And then when him and his ex didn't work out, the girl that was commenting on his posts and stuff like that, I guess he ended up entertaining her instead. He had backup plans. And I really internalized that. And he never admitted to any of this, but I'm a psychic, so I know. So if any of you out there are psychic, intuitive, and you are really in touch with your intuition, trust your intuition on certain things. Certain things, you don't need them to come out their mouth and say oh yeah, this is what happened. You don't need that. you just kind of know intuitively. So he's still entertaining that girl. Like to the day, I still pick up on it intuitively, but that connection is severing. Like it's dying down slowly but surely. So don't worry, by the end of this video, I'll get to the part where everything's going to die down. So it can give you some type of comfort for those who are thinking like, oh my God, is this going to be forever? Am I going to feel like this forever? Trust me, it's not forever. I thought that too. And it's not forever. So like I said, I internalized the fact that he left me for someone else. And I internalized the fact that I was put in last place. It was like, okay, let me try this with my ex. Oh, that doesn't work? Cool. Let me throw that to the side. Oh, let me try this with this other girl. See if this works. And then maybe if this one doesn't work out, maybe I'll go back to, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I felt like I was put in dead last place, and I really turned on myself, internalized that, and really started to hate myself and beat myself up over it. A lot of harsh self-punishment, like I would not eat or I would not sleep at the right times. And I didn't really realize that I was punishing myself, but I was, like I really was. And I noticed that, I even tweeted this on Twitter one time. I was just like, tweeted this on Twitter, obviously. I was just like, be careful that you don't wrap your self-worth up in a human being, because when they turn on you, you'll turn on you. And that's exactly what happened. So for a lot of you who are going through a breakup and a separation, a lot of you are in this right now where you are turning on yourself and you are hating yourself and you are upset with yourself and disappointed in yourself, and you're feeling worthless. You're feeling invisible. You are feeling like you were just left out in the cold. And I get that feeling. And that is a horrible sinking feel. Like it feels like you are just, it feels like you're drowning almost. It feels like it's just like this dark cloud constantly over your head. Like you walk around during the day, and even if good things are happening for you during the day, it's always something in the back of your mind that's just weighing there, that's just sitting there. And then when you have a free moment, you'll think, oh, that's what it is. It's the breakup. It's a separation. Even if it's not a separation where anything shady happened, like maybe you two just outgrew each other and you had to break up, it's like that energetic, like heaviness that weighs down on you. So this is what I did I guess I'm going to give you what you should and should not do, judging by like my past mistakes as well. So I'm first going to start with what you should not do. What you should not do is, first of all, stalk them. Yeah, I definitely was checking his social media nonstop because I wanted clarity about the situation with this girl. And that's the thing though. If someone left you for someone else, or they were doing something sneaky behind your back, don't worry about what's going on in that relationship, because karma is going to balance that completely out. Because when you are wanting to, you can't help who you fall in love with, right? You can't help who you catch feelings for sometimes. But the thing is that you need to be honest. So if someone left you for someone else and they did it in a very greasy, like grimy way, where they started something behind your back and they didn't tell you that they had started it, they weren't honest with you, they weren't open, and then they kind of like tossed you out in the cold and then went with that other person, the karmic energy that they have created with that, you got to just pray for them. Because honestly, I've got to see firsthand up close what karma actually does and how it works. And it's nothing nice. So make sure that you are not wishing bad things on them, because that karma does affect you as well when you wish bad things on them. I know as humans, it's easy for us to be like, okay, well, they did me wrong, so they should deserve karma. But when you're coming from a space like that, karma comes and beats your ass as well. Trust me. You should go and watch Angelic Karma's. It's a YouTube channel called Your Angelic Karma. It's a tarot channel, but the video that I'm going to recommend for you, it has nothing to do with tarot. It's a video that she makes about it's an astrology video that she made recently about karma and how karma is about to come in and handle people, and basically how the karmic process works. So I'm just saying, be mindful of shooting negative energy their way and negative thoughts. Just let karma handle it and balance it out. And I'm telling you this, like I said, because I myself did not do that. I was constantly checking to see what's going on with him and this girl, because he was telling me like, she's no one to me, she's nobody to me. Like, he was lying the whole time. Like, it's a lie. I know intuitively that's a lie. So I would check over and over, and I would see that she would comment on his stuff, that she was like, oh my God, like me and Bae, and this love feels so real, and da-da-da-da-da. And then I messaged her, don't do this either. And I messaged her and I was just like, were you and him like together during this time frame? Because I really was trying to figure out what was going on behind my back. And that's the thing. If you are in separation and someone left you for someone else, and you have this inkling that they were dealing with someone else, do not go digging or trying to look for the truth or the answers, because the answers will come to you with time. Like, all you're doing is stressing yourself out more. And secondly, if someone leaves you in the dark like that and they don't give you clarity and they don't give you answers, that person does not love you anyway. So that's all the clarity that you need to walk away. The only thing I really needed to walk away was to know that I was left in the dark. And I instead was just like, okay, no, I need to know exactly what happened. But it's just like, girl, no, you don't need to know. Like, you don't need to know. So after I messaged her, she didn't respond. But then her tweets completely changed. And she was just like, these men out here ain't shit. And she just started like, and I was just like, okay, so that's confirmation. Like, that's confirmation. Like, yeah. All of a sudden I messaged her and all of a sudden now her tweets changed. And then I still was questioning him like, oh, you see her tweets change. So clearly you were dealing with this girl. And he was still, no, she doesn't mean anything to me. And it just got to a point where I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, you don't need this amount of proof. So long story short, stop digging because you don't need proof. You don't need confirmation. All the confirmation that you need is that it's over. And somebody who loved you, especially if it's over in a very like harsh way where you feel like they did you so wrong, anybody who loved you and was meant to be in your life would not take that route when it comes to leaving you. Because I was literally left out to die. Like, I'm not even, like, that sounds really dramatic, but when you have such a strong energetic cord to someone and they discard you and toss you in the trash, it's like the amount of pain that's associated with that is, I can't even explain it. And a lot of you are experiencing that at this moment. And it's sort of like when people throw you in the trash and you already have issues with your self-worth and your codependency, it's sort of like you stay in the trash and you kind of wait for them to take you out of the trash. And so that's another tip that I wanted to pretty much tell you guys, that if someone throws you in the trash, you don't have to wait for them to take you out. Just climb out of the trash can and dust yourself off. And you're going to have to heal yourself back to health, because clearly if this person was willing to throw you in the trash, they're not going to come and take you out because they don't love you and they don't care about you the way that you deserve to be loved and cared about. Because there are plenty of times where I'm sure you have broken up with someone, or like you've seen breakups where the person is not evil and harsh. A breakup does not have to be evil and greasy and harsh. So if someone left you and they did it in a fair way, but it still hurts, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like an injustice that's done. I mean, it all hurts just the same. But just know that if there was some type of injustice done, you feel like you were thrown like literally in the trash, you have to really pick yourself up out of the trash. They're not coming back to get you out of the trash. And a lot of times you will wait there for them to come get you out the trash can, like I said, because your ego is so bruised and battered. And you sometimes it gets to a point where you don't even want to be with them anymore. You just want them to come back just so they can show that they care, so they can validate you, so that they can choose you. And in order to combat this, you have to make the conscious decision to choose yourself. Like, I had to make the conscious decision to choose myself. Like, every time we spoke after that, it was never an apology. It was never admitting his wrongs. I was still the one admitting my wrongs, trying to get him to admit his wrongs by admitting my wrongs. But no, all he would do was project and be like, yeah, you were wrong about that, and gaslight and lie and say, no, I was not doing that. Long story short, like, the way that person showed up in your life, they will continue to show up in your life. If they showed up as a liar, they will continue to be a liar. If they showed up as someone who will abandon you, they will continue to abandon you. So there's no need to try to reconcile. There's no need to wait for them to validate you. There's no need to wait for them to come and save you or rescue you or make you feel better, because they just can't. They don't have it. Like, they cannot. If they had the ability to treat you that badly, they don't have the ability to heal you. So you have to heal yourself. And another part of this is actually knocking that person off of that pedestal too. Because one thing that prolonged my healing process was the fact that I had him on such a high pedestal. I saw him as someone who was I already saw him as someone who was amazing. Long before his career took off, I was just like so infatuated with him. Like, I was infatuated with his drive and his talent and just him as a person overall. And I had so much respect for him, and I was intimidated by him. Which I should not have been, because we're all just humans. There's no need to be intimidated by anyone. But that's what happens when you don't have, the highest of self-esteem, when you come from a background of abuse, when you just now got out of a narcissistic relationship, you don't have the best self-esteem. And that's when I ran into him, and that's when I caught feelings for him, is when I wasn't feeling the best about myself. So I had him on a pedestal already. And so I already thought that he was above me. And then shortly after, his career took off. And when I say took off, I mean took off, like celebrity status took off. It wasn't any like, oh, well, he made some little steps or strides in his career. Like, no, he went from 0 to 100. Literally, I'm exaggerating here, people. And you can imagine that I already had him on that pedestal. I placed him even higher on it, because now he was getting fame and recognition. And I was just like, well, shit, like, I'm really not, like, how am I going to compete? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean when I say, like, you cannot go into a relationship until you have a sufficient amount of self-love and self-worth. Because when it's over and done with, if you have that person on a pedestal, how are you going to have the strength to pick yourself back up if you already feel like they're above you and you're seeing your self-worth through their eyes? Because I put him so far above me because of his career and because of worldly things, I saw myself as a piece of shit when he left me. See what I'm saying? When in reality, I should have been looking at it as, why am I putting him on a pedestal? I should be putting myself on a pedestal. I have integrity. I have love in my heart. I have pure intentions. I don't lie. You know, I don't mislead people. I don't, you know, treat people harshly. So why am I putting him on this pedestal just because of the material things that he has, or because of the traits that I thought he had that I projected onto him? Because I described him as someone who was compassionate and loving. In one of my old videos, if you can recall back, if you've been subscribed for this long, in one of my old videos, I mentioned him and I said that he's very compassionate and loving, but that's not true. That was a trait that I was projecting onto him. And so a lot of you who are dealing with the separation right now, just think about the traits that you have projected onto this person that they don't really have. And it's time to really knock them off of that pedestal, because it's going to be almost impossible to move on if you keep them on that pedestal and you see yourself as low and you see them as high. It will be almost impossible to move on, because you will continuously be hoping and praying that they will come back, that they will come back and validate you like they once did. And I have to mention hope as well, because I've been getting intuitive messages about this, and then I've been coming across random articles about it. So my spirit guides were trying to show me something. So pretty much I was on Reddit one time and I was reading, it was like a thread, I think, about abusers and like their mindsets. And it was some abusers who were coming onto Reddit, like emotional abusers who were coming onto Reddit and who were like sharing their stories of abuse and how they abuse people purposely and how they are able to manipulate people and stuff like that. I don't remember which thread it was, so I can't even link it. If I find it, I'll link it down below. But pretty much one of the people there said something that stuck so hard with me. And basically he said that he will always try to come back to his exes that he, you know, was playing games with, and he'll sprinkle a little bit of hope in there. And he said, because hope is always the last thing to go. And when he said that, like, it just sent like a chill like down my body, because I just recalled back to all the narcissists and that I've been with, and all the times that I felt so empowered and ready to walk away, how they would come in and just sprinkle a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope. And that's what it is that's keeping a lot of people stuck from moving on, is that they're holding on to hope. They're holding on to hope that the person's going to come back. The person's going to validate them. The person's going to realize their worth. The person's going to, you know, leave the person that they left them for and come back. It's like holding on to this hope, and that hope needs to die. Especially if you're dealing with an abusive person, because like that article said, or like that Reddit thread said, that person on Reddit, he said he purposely makes them believe that there is still hope, because hope is the last thing to go. Hope is what keeps them hanging on. So especially if you're dealing with an abusive person, you have to kill that hope. You have to kill any idea in your head, any fantasy in your head about what's going to happen in 10 years. Like maybe we'll get back together. Like this fantasy that you put in your head, like maybe in 5-10 years we'll get back together. We'll come across each other. Like it's like this fairy tale whirlwind romance. And I'm a Pisces moon, so you know I love to be delusional, and I love me a good Disney movie, a good fairy tale, but it's not always realistic, unfortunately. I know it's terrible. Like I said, I have a Pisces moon, so I would love to live in fantasy world. Like to me, everybody, like if I were to be able to create the perfect world, literally everybody would have a partner or multiple partners if they're into that. And everybody would just be genuine, honest, in love, and just feel this feeling of constantly being in love and empowered, and just feeling, everyone would just be feeling good, and everyone would be treating each other right, and no one would be lying. Like that's the type of world I live in my head. And then I'm like slapped back to reality. Like, no, like that's not how it is. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but sometimes you have to slap yourself back to reality, and you have to kind of kill that hope. And when you kill that hope, just kill the hope for them to become something that they have already showed you that they're not. Like kill the hope that, okay, this person's going to have a change of heart, and they're going to like kill that hope. If they're going to have a change of heart and they're going to completely change and become a better person and come back to you, that's going to happen with or without you hoping for it. So there's no need to hold on to the hope and suffer even longer than you need to. And that's another thing with the spiritual community, twin flame community, and things like that. The tarot readings. Sometimes watching tarot readings are very detrimental to you because it keeps you hanging on to hope. And when you hang on to hope, you hang on to the person. So I highly recommend, if you have been watching tarot readings, if you are getting sucked in by the titles of the tarot reading, like you could see a title like Capricorn, they regret what they did. And you're like, ooh, you click on it because you want them to regret it, right? Like you want to feel good. You want to feel validated. Like, okay, they know they messed up. Sometimes that just keeps you hanging on. I'm not saying that these tarot readers are lying, because a lot of times they are accurate, but that keeps you hanging on, because then next thing you know, the next month you go back to that same tarot reader, the energy has shifted, and now they're in a new relationship and they're happy, and you're now sinking into a deep depression because you chose to continuously watch these tarot readings about them. See what I'm saying? It's like, if you're going to watch tarot readings about your situation with your soulmate or whatever, make sure that you are watching them for guidance and then leaving them alone and focusing on your healing. And when it comes to soulmate, also, I wanted to point out that not every soulmate will turn into a life partnership. That's just not how it goes. Even if you are meant to have a life partnership with them, like even if you signed some type of, karmic contract before you were born, that I know some of you probably don't believe in this, but for the people who do believe in reincarnation, if you signed some type of karmic contract with them before you were born, that you guys were going to come here, learn from each other, and then grow, heal, and marry each other and live happily ever after. We have free will. So they don't have to hold up that end of the contract. Like, that's what I'm saying too about twin flames. People are like, this is my twin flame, so they have to be with me so I can hold on to hope. No, we all still have free will. So your twin flame does not have to be with you. Your twin flame can choose to not heal. Your twin flame can choose to go about their business and do whatever they want to do. Everybody has free will. And I know a lot of people are not going to, like, some people in the twin flame community don't agree with this, but that's the guidance that I have received. That sometimes that just will not be the case with some people's twin flames. It's rare, but it's possible. So just treat your twin flame situation the same way you would treat a normal relationship. They say, I don't want you. Take it as I don't want you. All right, I feel like I'm rambling. I'm getting off topic. Okay, so back to what I was saying about finding comfort within separation and breakups. So basically what I did in order to find comfort is that I started really focusing on giving, right? Because I was watching this Wayne Dyer video on love, and I'll link it down below because it's one of my favorite videos. And he was talking about how when we seek for love outside of ourselves, we're basically sending out a message to the universe that we are lacking love. And when you feel like you lack something, you will chase it. And when you chase something, it will always run from you. And basically he was saying that we are born from love. We are born from God. Or if you don't believe in God, you were born from your parents. It's like where we came from before we were born was love. Like we were born from an act of love. And even if your parents were abusive or toxic or whatever else, it doesn't matter. You were still born from a place of love. Your parents are just like a portal to which you came into this world, but you trust and believe. You are made of love. Trust and believe. So basically what Wayne Dyer is saying in that video is that you don't ever have to search for something that you already are. And a lot of the times during the separation process or after a breakup, we are so devastated because we feel like love was taken away from us. And like, God, that was my chance at love. Like, we all just want to feel that love because, like Wayne Dyer says, when you are feeling good, you are feeling God. When you are feeling love, that is the energy of God that you are feeling. And all of us were put here to experience that. That is our home. Like, we came from that feeling of love because that feeling of love is God. That's our home. So when we find that in another person, we sort of make that person God because they feel like home. God, do not start crying. Oh, my God. Push through it, Shaniqua. God, my Pisces moon. I cannot. Okay. So, oh, yeah. For all of you wondering, because this is like, I had to address this. For all of you who order tarot readings, me and my mom, because my mom has a business, we share a PayPal account, and they would not let me switch my PayPal account to just my name. So it's my mom's name. So a lot of people have been like, hi, Felicia, or like they've been calling me Felicia, like through the emails. And I don't ever correct them because I'm so used to it. And I don't even think twice about it because that's my mom's name. But my name's not Felicia. It's actually Shaniqua. So I'm going to change it on PayPal and stuff like that. But I had to clarify that just in case somebody heard like, what? Your name's Shaniqua? Yeah, my name's Shaniqua, guys. But it's okay if you called me Felicia in that email. Don't worry. Like I said, I don't even really notice it anymore because it happens so often. But anyway, like I was saying, the person that we fall in love with, we are experiencing the love that we are naturally made of. And a lot of us have been so disconnected from our own souls and disconnected from God that we forget that we are made of this love, and that we can't lose something that is just always around us. So even if that person left, you're going to miss them. You're going to miss their presence. But there's so much more love left to receive and to give. You know what I'm saying? Love is the one thing that never runs out. It's the one thing that we have like an infinite supply of. So if you are going through a difficult separation, you feel like your heart is closing up, I would say to pray that your heart stays open. And I know that that sounds crazy because you're like, no, close it off, it hurts. No, I would just really pray like for God to keep, like just ask God, please keep my heart open. Please keep my heart open and keep it strong, you know, because you can have an open heart and still have a strong heart at the same time. A lot of people think that that's like an oxymoron, that when your heart is so open, full of love, that that's a weakness, but that's not necessarily true. So pray to keep your heart open and to keep it strong. And another thing that Wayne Dyer suggested in that video is to give love away. Basically, he was saying that when you give love away, it's bound to come back to you. And now some of you are probably thinking like, well, I gave it away to my ex. It depends on your intention behind it and where that space was coming from. Like, did you give it to your ex because you expected something back? Did you give it to your ex from a place of codependency? Did you give it to your ex from a place of needing validation? Now, I'm not talking about in the beginning, because in the beginning of your relationship, yes, I'm sure it came from a pure place. But eventually when the relationship started to turn a little toxic or things started to go a little left, just really ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Did you self-sacrifice? Did you give away love that was not being put back into you? Because if that's the case, that's not pure love. That's not genuine love. You know, that's false. That's false love, because love doesn't feel that way. Love will never make you feel drained or depleted. So when Wayne Dyer says to give away love to receive it, he's saying to give it away in a genuine way. For example, me making this video right now, I'm giving away love because there's nothing I want out of this video except for you, whoever's listening, to feel relief and feel better, because I know how it feels to be separated from somebody that you love, to be away from someone that you love and not be able to talk to them and not be able to see them, and to basically be mourning them even when they're still alive and grieving them when they're still alive. And so I want nothing in return from this video except to give people relief. And that's what I mean when I say give away love to receive it, because every time I put out a video and I'm genuine and I am just wanting to give people some type of relief or comfort, I always get that energy back. I always get that love back, but I'm not doing it to get it back. I'm doing it because I genuinely love and want to help people. So find a way to just give love away, whether it's volunteer work or giving it away to your family. But most importantly, find a way to give it back to yourself. You know, treat yourself, look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself. Write down the things about yourself that is beautiful that you may have forgotten because of this separation and because of the way that you're feeling. Really pour love into yourself. Make sure you stay close to spirit, stay close to God, if you believe in God, of course, or a higher power. If you don't believe in a higher power, you know, you can believe in nature. Go to nature, hug a tree. Be a tree hugger. It's like, just get in tune with something that's higher than yourself, that takes you away from this earthly realm, because sometimes being a human can be just so painful and exhausting. Sometimes you just need an escape. And that's why I really escape into, you know, the spiritual realm. And I really, you know, lean on God and lean on my spiritual gurus as well, like Wayne Dyer, like Louise Hay. And why I go to the park and put my feet in the soil so I can feel connected to Mother Earth, and so I can feel like I'm being grounded, because sometimes I just need to escape, or to stop thinking about my problems, you know what I'm saying, and just really connect with my higher source, because we're all going to die someday, not to be morbid, but we're all going to die someday, and we are going to return to source. That is our home. So sometimes when things just get to be too much here, we have to turn back around and connect back to source, connect back to that higher power. Okay, I think I need to end this video because I'm going to burst into tears. Oh, my Pisces moon. I'm such a sensitive baby. I can't. So, but I like myself, you know. I like myself. And you all should. You all should love yourself. So, yeah, I think I'm going to end that here. If you are going through a separation or a breakup, I know it feels like death right now. I know it feels like horrific, but you are going to get through it. I never thought I would be able to get to a point where I woke up in the morning and was able to even smile. Like for the past, I don't even know how long, I wasn't even able to smile. I had no joy inside of me because I felt like my joy was gone. And that's just not true. No one can ever take joy away from you. You always have it within you. You always have love within you. And if you are really, really, really struggling, to release this issue or release this pain, 2 things I will highly recommend would be, 1, volunteer work. Like, go to your nearest soup kitchen and volunteer. Go to your nearest, like, what is it, like Salvation Army, or like just any place where you can actually offer your services and volunteer, because sometimes taking your mind off of your problems involves putting your mind onto other people's problems. And it's not like it's a way of neglecting yourself. It's a positive way of distracting yourself. But then also, I would also recommend art. So if you are into artwork, or if you have an artistic outlet, dive into that. If you don't have an artistic outlet, choose one. Because of YouTube, literally you can learn any art form that you want. You can buy a guitar from the pawn shop and then go on YouTube, like interpret and type in guitar lessons, and you can just start learning the guitar. You know, like, what a time to be alive. Seriously. It blows my mind. I'm just like, oh my God, like all the information, it's insane. But yeah, any artwork that you like, any art form is going to help you transmute that pain and help you to also distract your mind from it. So try your best to stay off of their social media. Try your best not to obsess about them. And you do that by filling your time up with other things that make you happy, that make you feel fulfilled, or just a way of expressing yourself, even if it's artistically or creatively. So I hope that this video was helpful. Hang in there, folks. You will get through this. Trust and believe. Just keep on hanging on. Keep on having strength. Take the lessons from the situation and use it to make yourself a better person. And specifically, if you have been left for someone else, just know that if someone left you for someone else, then that means that you have someone better coming to you. That sounds like a cliche, but it's not. If you really think about it, if you were in love with this person, like deeply in love with them, and they ended up leaving you and they are genuinely in love with someone else now, why would God leave you out in the cold like that? It just wouldn't happen. That just means that there's a greater love coming for you. Like, even if you don't believe in God or fate or whatever, that's logic. Like, if there's someone else out there, if you're like an Aquarius who likes to think like me, who likes to overthink and analyze, or like my Geminis out there, my Libras, you know, my air signs. If, like, logically think about it, if your ex was able to leave you and move on and fall in love with someone else, logically there's someone else for you as well. It's like, you're not going to be alone forever. You're not going to be in this rut forever. Right now, your ego is more so bruised than anything, but you have to really just pour love into yourself, pick yourself back up, do things that make you feel confident, you know, take care of your physical appearance, just do things that make you feel like a better version of yourself. Go to the gym, you know, practice those goals, or set those goals that you weren't able to focus on while you were in a relationship. Just change up your routine and do something to make you feel better about yourself. Okay, guys, so that is it. I really hope that this video was helpful to those in need and those going through a separation or a breakup at the moment. I am sending all my love out to you. Things are going to get better for you. I will send prayers your way. Send them my way as well. Prayers are always welcome over here as well. And thank you for everyone who ordered tarot readings, and everyone who just continuously supports my channel. Like, I truly appreciate you. I can't even begin to explain how thankful and grateful I am for all of you. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.